The benefits of chess. Chess is one of the greatest board games of all time and has been played for hundreds of years by millions of people. There are many proven cognitive benefits of chess, and it has been played by many icons that you know and love, such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Albert Einstein, and even Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant compares basketball to chess, saying, "These guys are playing checkers, but I'm out there playing chess." Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and he compares a board game to basketball. That is because chess is one of the greatest board games of all time. Chess is a game that gets as close to 100% skill as possible. On one side of the spectrum, you have something like slots. There's zero difference between somebody that's a beginner and an experienced player. Just pull the lever, you win. Chess is something that you have 100% difference between a beginner and an experienced player. So with my experience playing chess for a couple of years and being in my previous school's chess team, I believe that I'll be able to prove to you that chess should be taught mandatorily in schools. So, to prove my point, let's put it to the four-way test. So, is it the truth? Well, according to Healthline, an American provider for health information, chess has many proven cognitive benefits, such as memory, the ability to think from somebody else's perspective, empathy, and even so is it fair to all concerned? Teaching chess would be similar to teaching home ec, food science, and even health. Chess is something that everybody should just know. A school's main goal is to teach people for their life, for their adult life, to get a job, to go to college, to have a family. Chess meets this goal by providing students with many cognitive benefits and preparing them for their adult life. Some people may say that chess is boring, but chess has many different rule sets, like bullet chess, where you only have a minute to checkmate your opponent. This is my most favorite version of chess because it's just completely chaotic and almost anybody can have fun playing it. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Absolutely. At my previous school, we would go to tournament. We would take buses in the middle of the day, end of the day, 7:30 in the morning, and go to other schools. This was amazing. I was able to meet people from other towns, people that have lived in different states. I was able to meet people from different walks of life. It was just extremely fun to hang out with these cool guys and just have fun playing a game. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Of course. According to the National Institute of Health, the highest leading health provider of information in America, chess does seem to prove and enhance primary school children's ability to think and have cognitive function. It also improves their grades. In the end, chess has many proven benefits, and it is able to help students meet their expectations for school. Chess is a board game, but it is perfect for helping children compare it to their lives and help them develop the thought that they need to advance and to help them in their life. It can help them in many ways. The National Institute of Health does say that there might be a placebo effect, but those that truly get into chess and truly like it, like anything else, will ignore this placebo effect, and it will help them in their everyday lives. Chess, I believe, is one of the greatest board games of all time. It has been played for hundreds of years by millions of people, and it is extremely enjoyable. Chess is just one of those things that everybody should know and do. Chess is extremely fun, anybody can play it, and in schools, teachers may have a problem teaching it. But it is beneficial because chess is very simple. I could teach somebody chess. So it is very easy for people to pick it up. It's not a complex rule set, you're able to learn it. It is proven that the NIH also provides information to prove that in elderly people, it is able to decline the effects of Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. It helps them with their ability to function, it gives them good thought, it gives them something to do, and it gives them something to love. So in the end, I recommend all of you that you should all at least try chess, at least maybe online, with a friend, with your children. It may help them become the next Kobe Bryant. Thank you.
Do you ever find yourself rummaging through your closet, stressed out what outfit you're going to wear? You can't find anything that fits your preferred dress code. Whether you're going to a festival, a restaurant, to school, or your everyday job, finding a solution to your wardrobe dilemma might not be the easiest. Dress codes have been a part of cultures for centuries, shaping the way you present yourselves in various different settings. But there is no doubt that throughout the years, the societal standards for modest dress code has changed. Growing up, I've seen firsthand how having a specific dress code can affect someone. Fashion is a statement. And expressing who you are as a person is a statement. I may only be 16 years old, but I've seen how having a specific dress code, no matter where you go, affects people. Isn't the truth? It is clear that there's a double standard dress code in society within men and women. Most dress codes are toward women, and it's not even towards the clothes itself. Women's fashion evolution over time has expanded. Went from what was considered more modest clothing to more revealing clothing. Even more so, it gave us the freedom to express ourselves. But is it being accepted in today's society? Men's fashion has evolved. No one seems to have as many comments on that as they do on women's. Sarah Matthews shares an experience regarding the time she was playing a simple game of soccer which turned into something beyond the game. She had happened to be playing with her peers, which she felt inspired her knee. Her father pointed out the cuts and stated, "Girls shouldn't have cuts on their knees." Sarah was only 12. Nobody batted an eye around the boys who were eagerly playing the game, roughhousing around, slipping, sliding, and falling without a care, and so their clothes were torn and their skin was bloody. So why do we care about what a girl's body looks like? There are many different ways to go about the context of what kind of scars girls have anywhere on their body. What kind of messages that send? Girls are oftentimes told that what they wear or how they look can send the wrong message. But the wrong message to who? For example, there are countless stories about girls who go places where it's required to wear a tutu. Places like the local YMCA, a friend's house, or the plan to swim during the summer, or even their summer camp, where the girls were asked to wear a t-shirt over top of their bathing suits. Why? The boys' sweatshirt looks like normal, and there was nothing inappropriate about bathing suits. There's nothing wrong with being cautious and having preferences with clothing and how much skin you want to show. But being respectful with that consciousness also comes with being respectful towards the people you want to influence that mindset on. Rightfully, you shouldn't tell anyone how to dress, especially if they're dressed for your COVID occasion. Plus, if no one appears to show any signs of discomfort, is the problem really what they're wearing? Is it fair to all concerned? There is no doubt that you should always be respectful of what you wear around others. The fairness of the dress code can depend on how it's implemented and enforced. It goes without saying that the school dress codes are one of the most important issues facing dress code dilemma. From elementary to graduation, schools have been telling students how to dress for years. But whose job among the school is it to decide what's inappropriate and what isn't? Now, fittingly, you shouldn't show up to school in a bikini without pants. Schools implement these policies as an effort to reduce in-class distractions. Items like baggy pants, coats, hats, hooded sweatshirts. These items can make it look like the student is hiding something they shouldn't have. It also makes it difficult for staff to identify students. Even more so, items like leggings and some athletic wear are not permitted. Of course, the reason for this provides safety and fair play, but research shows that these unequal policies are affecting students, making them feel less safe, not more. A report from the Government Accountability's Office recently discovered that dress codes typically restrict items worn by girls, and as a result, students are facing more disciplinary action, making them miss out on their classroom time. On top of that, the athletic wear that the school provides even goes against their own dress code. Granted, it is out of school hours. You are still representing the school. You might have heard the rule fingertip length. At most schools, this is carried through with an average shirt and pants. But if you really think about it, the cheerleader in tennis skirts, the volleyball player shorts, the track team outfits, and even then, what do you consider the swim team? A group of high school track athletes in Albany, New York were removed from practice for showing up wearing sports bras and no shirts. Why? They allowed the boys to go shirtless. There's one simple solution to this problem, most would think. Either allow the girls to wear their sports bras or make the boys put on shirts too. By both genders not wearing shirts, it's equally as attractive to both parties. This allows the team members to be divided, resulting in less teamwork and more hostility, which isn't beneficial to anyone. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Dress codes are implemented for safety and security reasons. All dress codes should be inclusive for everybody, but most businesses who sell clothing often carry what is most trendy, which tends to be difficult if the trends don't align with the specific dress code provided. This is what's known as fast fashion. It dictates conversation, confidence, and relationships. The problem with fast fashion is that it keeps up to date on the latest trends, which is reasonable. You want your product to sell, bring more customers. But most people don't realize that it provides quantity over quality. Crop tops, holes, jeans, and certain types of t-shirts are prohibited as workplace attire, resulting in more dress code problems instead of fewer. Despite this, someone just suggests they find a different store. The store that carries the specific dress code that you're looking for. Why should we have to do that? Nobody wants to drive the extra mile because their nearest Walmart 2 blocks down doesn't carry the specific dress codes that they're looking for. Naturally, it doesn't hurt for everybody to be inclusive. Nobody likes to feel left out. Besides, who wants to waste more money than they have to by wasting out gas? Leading us to our next important factor, will it be beneficial to all concerned? As mentioned earlier, dress codes have a societal impact. There are daily struggles with finding something to wear for the appropriate place. Dress codes aren't primarily the problem. It's the mindset of the person who executed it. Depending on such, dress codes should be changed essentially because of the way they different expression, and that there is a huge discrimination against women. Exploring the concept of fairness in dress codes can be beneficial to all, as it promotes equality and reduces potential biases. When it's fair, it can create a more inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and respected, as more people are likely to feel confident and comfortable with attire. A compelling argument in favor of changing dress codes is upholding a certain standard of professionalism. Some might argue that it reduces distractions and maintains a cohesive appearance, especially in schools or workplaces. Nevertheless, there are many different ways to change a dress code while also being inclusive and not causing distractions. This serves to emphasize the unfair play and discriminatory role a dress code has on people. Notably, how society has changed the body of the dress code into what could be something considered as inappropriate or acceptable. I'm not asking for every workplace in the world to review their dress codes and change it. I'm simply asking to be a little bit more open-minded, to review your views and mindsets. Because at the end of the day, if you're not wearing it, you shouldn't say who does. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all coming out. I'm sure my fellow contestants also appreciate you being here. In fact, just you being here combats the problem that I'm going to be presenting in my speech. But take a quick look around. Less people than you'd expect. A lot of empty seats. But maybe we should expect this, considering that the world we live in is not necessarily one that prioritizes the absorption of new ideas or community. We live in a world that sees families who are disconnected and that sees couples who are more connected to their phones than to one another, even friends who will chat online but sit right next to each other in absolute silence. That's because, but what happens when these worlds that we have created, these isolated echo chambers, begin to divide us? By isolating ourselves in these echo chambers, we're losing something fundamental: the ability to care, understand, and truly love one another. So, is this the truth? Two things I want to quickly argue. First of all, no, this division that I'm describing does not foster truth-telling between individuals, but there is deeper truth within this division that I want to delve into. For example, the divide between generations, the divide between men and women, and the divide between individuals themselves. First of all, let's talk about political division. That's an obvious one. Political division is no longer just about differing ideas. It's about completely different perceptions of reality. Our social media algorithms feed us things that we already agree with. That gives us an illusion of consensus, while the divide has actually never been deeper. Generational separation has intensified. Parents and kids who were once bonded by shared experiences now live in parallel worlds. They're side by side, but separate. One of them is scrolling on social media on TikTok, and the other is ironically also scrolling through TikTok. However, their For You pages are so out of touch and out of line with one another. They're moving through the same timeline, but they're experiencing life completely differently. The gender divide is just as striking. We see men and women are, for example, voting against each other in record numbers. According to the Associated Press, men and women are voting against one another at an average of 10 points of separation. But this divide does extend far beyond politics. Less people are married. less people are having kids. And as a result, the generations ahead of us hang in the balance. So is this fair to all concerned? And I argue fairness is about balance, and the way we live now is anything but. In the past, we were made to interact with people that we disagreed with, whether that was in our workplaces, in our families, or just in our community in general. But now we curate our experiences to only things we agree with and like, losing the ability to understand what we don't. This rise of what I call hyper-individualism has made relationships harder with fewer shared experiences. And quite frankly, a society of people that cares so little about those around them. We focus on ourselves so much, our own happiness, our own what have you, that we disregard the feelings of others because it doesn't pertain to us. A culture that prioritizes the individual over the community is not one that fosters fairness or unity. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? How could it? How could our own preoccupation with our own selfish lives possibly build connections between you and me and anyone around us? That's just not how it works. We're making decisions to separate ourselves. We may talk and post online about how much we love and care about each other, but love is not passive. It's an active choice to engage, to empathize, and to understand. We have more ways to connect than ever. However, somehow, we're lonelier than we've ever been. According to the American Psychiatric Association, 30% of all adults report feeling lonely in the past week on their survey. And the sad part is, the younger a contestant was, the lonelier they were. That's because real relationships require discomfort. The best friendships, strongest families, and most lasting relationships are not built on agreement, but on the ability to navigate differences. Building goodwill and better friendships requires us to embrace the uncomfortable reality of true human connections. So, is this beneficial to all concerned? And I think I've been arguing this whole time that no, we are not benefiting people by being disconnected. But what if we were to overcome this? And how would we do that? First and foremost, we must rebuild the bridges that we've let crumble, which takes small but significant individual changes in our daily lives. That means having hard conversations, even when that means we are outside of things that we possibly disagree with, and choosing connection over community. Let's return to a world that actually has families talking at the dinner table rather than scrolling through their phones, and political rivals on the grand stage and individually who debate ideas rather than hating and disregarding the other person based on ideas they might hold. So, go outside. Call that person you haven't talked to and connected with in a while, and keep going to events like this. Events that expand your perception and understanding the world that you live in. Because the question isn't whether we can reconnect. It's whether we will choose to continue living in our comfortable, parallel worlds that are side by side but equal. Or will we choose to reconnect and make those connections that make life truly meaningful? It's up to you. Thank you.
So my mother's in the audience today. She's an extraordinary woman. I mean, beautiful in every way possible, but it comes with a catch. She was not supposed to be able to have children. She was not supposed to be able to have that opportunity. She was told when she was very young that, by a doctor, that she was not supposed to have children, whether it be biologically, genetically, maybe the effects of birth control itself. I can't really tell you what it was, because not even the doctor knew. But so many women, not only in America, but all around the world, suffer and have this problem with being infertile. While some women have the ability to be so fertile and have that opportunity, but they also have the opportunity to say, no, I don't particularly want this truth that abortion should not be an option? I would say yes. Now, I completely understand the argument. Well, what if I was wrongfully impregnated? What if it wasn't my consent to have this baby? Well, think about it like this. While that is such an unfortunate thing that many women do face, was it the baby's fault? When that baby is conceived, it is undoubtedly a living thing as soon as it is conceived. The definition of a living thing, a living organism, is that it can grow and develop. What is that baby doing inside of its mother for 9 months? I understand the argument of saying, but it's unborn. I haven't seen it yet. Well, it's still growing and developing inside of its mother's womb, so that means it is in fact a living thing. Is it fair to all concerned? Is it fair to all concerned to have abortion not be an option? Obviously, the other side would say no, because they would think, well, if I got wrongfully impregnated, why would I want this baby due to all the trauma that it brings? However, some women can't say no. They aren't able to say no to that option. So instead, they try and do medically induced fertilization. For example, in vitro. But you know the statistics of in vitro working? It's 25 to 30%. That leaves those women with a 75 to 80% chance of it guaranteeing them not to work. An adoption, well, you can be financially ready, your house can be spectacular, you can be Mr. Rogers, but that does not mean that you will get that baby. That baby is not guaranteed that you will be able, that they can give it to you, that they can say, you know what, yes, sign up, you can have this baby. No, they can always say no. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Honestly, I think this is such a controversial topic. No. I'll be honest. No. Because do you really want to hear a person's side or a person's argument that you don't agree with? No. One person wants to be right, and one person wants that other person to be wrong. On both sides of the spectrum. However, everybody gets a say except for the baby. But the baby is the one being terminated, being taken and being made to come to an end. So, obviously I can understand women, like I've said, saying, I don't want this baby. It gives me too much trauma. But I can also understand the women saying, why do you get to say no to an opportunity I don't even have? That's not right. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? In my opinion, yes, I think it will be. Because of the fact that you are finally thinking about that baby. When you say abortion should not be an option, you're saying that that baby has the right to life. As soon as that baby is conceived, boom, it has the right to life. It is a living thing just like you, me. What's the difference between an unborn baby and, let's say, an 80-year-old? Well, one's unborn, but they're still living things. They still have the right to live. So, I say this. In conclusion, I personally believe that abortion should not be offered. Actually, my argument is abortion is murder. And my reasoning is this. Say a pregnant woman gets killed, murdered. Why is it considered a double homicide if that baby is not a living thing. If that baby wasn't a living thing, it would be considered one homicide and one homicide alone. It would not be considered a double homicide. So in conclusion, I say that we think about the life of the baby, the innocent, harmless baby that we can give to live. I mean, no one's saying you have to keep the baby. You can always give it up for adoption, but let that baby have the right to live just as much as you, me, and anyone else that's not here today has. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you all.
What does your mind wander to when you look into women's sports? Do people even think about women's sports? If someone were to ask you what your favorite professional team was, you'd probably say the NFL, the MLB, or the NBA. Women get paid significantly less than male athletes while doing the same thing, and in some cases, better. How does that make sense? Female athletes have been making waves over the last couple of years. Women's sports have seen a rise in league considerations, but there is still the unbalance. You have these amazing women inspiring young girls that would love to be like them. They are working hard to be a positive role model for these girls, showing that one day they can make it too. I am a female athlete. I had both male and female athletes that I looked up to growing up. I wanted to be just like them. And then I saw the disadvantage with women's sports. I always questioned why female athletes were paid less and had less. The answer I was always given was that society still views women differently or inferior to men, and that it was probably not going to change anytime soon. Can you imagine, as a young female athlete, hearing that the only reason that you will not get the same respect and pay was because you were a female athlete? That's it. Because you were a girl. Let's put these statements to the four-way Rotary test. Are they true? Yes, they are true. Women have been facing inequality for ages, from now and back all the way to the past. This is nothing new. Billie Jean King was a professional tennis player. She was one of the first to fight against female athlete inequality. With Jean's experience with inequality, she wanted to become an advocate. So Jean, she created the Women's National Tennis Association, which that means that there's equal pay in every major tournament. Billie Jean's advocacy sparked inspiration for other leagues to follow suit. Recently, the U.S. soccer team is suing the U.S. soccer team. The U.S. women's soccer team is suing the U.S. soccer team. They are suing them because they are involved with institutionalized gender discrimination, along with back pay, damages, and equal treatment. This was a result because the U.S. soccer women's team has 5 Olympic medals underneath their belt. And in the top 3 every year for the women's soccer championships. Like, that's crazy, right? Yet, they are still receiving less than the underachieving men's soccer team. Now let's bring in some current statistics. Since 2004, the pay gap sits currently to 80 to 84%. Now that also depends. So if we're getting into specific sports, right? The new pay gap now sits 15% to 100%. 100% more than male are getting paid than the female athletes. Let that sink in. Now let's imagine a world where male and female athletes were paid equally. Would this be fair? Of course this would be fair. Equality for women is fair. Women put in the same amount of work, equal amount of effort, equal amount of training, equal amount of heart. Women athletes could finally have the respect and acknowledgement that they deserve, just like their male athletes. Would equalizing mean women's sports would be beneficial to all? Yes. Yes, it would. Equalizing men and women's sports would be beneficial because that would also mean that the women, when little girls, when your daughters are watching these teams, they will see their favorite female athletes and they're like, yes, she's doing it, I want to do that too. Mom, Dad, Grandma, can I do that too? And you would finally be able to answer to her, yes, yes you can. In closing, I would like to answer the question, would this bring people together or apart? The desire for female athlete equality is already bringing people together. According to CNBC, professional famous NBA player Chris Paul quoted, "Women cannot fight this fight alone." Other pro-male athletes such as Kyrie Irving and Will Allen both told CNBC, it's important that women are not only paid equal, but treated with equal respect. Allen added, it is imperative for men to be advocates and fight for equal pay and gender equality. My closing statement is this is a call for action. For all ages of all females, pursuing their dreams. Women deserve the same amount of respect and financial stability for putting the same amount of work and effort into the craft as men. People need to see with clarity the injustice and take action for the future of women's sports and for the young ladies growing up with athletic ambitions. This is a reality that needs to be seen and heard. Coming from a female athlete, such as myself, thank you.
All right. Thank you again to our judges this evening who have given us our final results. We are going to start with our first runner-up, Alexander Pator. Alexander receives a Certificate of Excellence from the Rotary Club. He also receives a cash prize. Yeah, you're welcome. Our second runner-up goes to Ava Olenschlager. I would like to mention our runner-ups. They are receiving prizes of $100 each, along with their certificate.
Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome. Now for third place, goes to Lily Bishop. Lily receives $200. You're welcome. Good job. Okay, here we go. Second place goes to Gabriel Starr. Gabe's the winner of $300.
Ooh, thank you.
And that means our first place winner today is Kennedy Rogers. Kennedy does also get the opportunity to represent Jefferson at the district level of Rotary, which means she will have the opportunity to perform her speech again with other local high schools, which is a wonderful opportunity. So thank you, Kennedy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And Kennedy receives $500 today. Now's your photo opportunity.
Photo op. Great job, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you especially to Abby. We appreciate her so, so much with this. We're very, very proud, and every year this becomes one of our favorite events, as always. They are incredibly impressive speeches, and we really thank Jefferson for giving us such wonderful students. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.